Hi everyone, welcome to the Daily Dollar. Today I'm going over some of my favorite cashback credit cards. This is not a very scientific list, just some of my favorite cashback cards I've found over the years. I'm not saying they're the best, nor are they in any particular order. Just some of my personal favorite cashback credit cards. Some of the features they all have in common is that none of them have annual fees. To some people, cards with annual fees could actually be better. That being said, you normally need to be a pretty high spender to get that money back. You should always get credit cards that are better suited for your personal life. If you travel a lot, get travel cards. If you're a big spender, then maybe some of the premium fee cards are better. In the end, you need to figure out what works best for you. Typically, I like no annual fees, so I don't have to worry about getting that money back. Most credit cards focus on 3 different segments: business, travel, and everyday transactions. The last of which is generally all the cashback cards. Because you get cash back on pretty much all purchases, they make very good general use cards. Another reason I prefer cash back is because I can cash out whenever I please. Unfortunately, for travel cards, you typically need to plan a vacation to get any of that money back. So in order to get your rewards back, you have to go on vacation and spend more money. So with the prereqs out of the way, let's get into my favorite cashback credit cards. And after my favorites, I'll list some honorable mentions for specialty cases. The first on my list is the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. The Freedom Unlimited card is a pretty good all-rounder. It's a very practical general use card, especially if you happen to have a Chase account. With a competitive 1.5% unlimited cash back and the ability to earn up to 3% on certain dining, restaurants, and takeout needs, as well as another 3% on drugstore purchases, the Chase Freedom Unlimited card is one of the easiest to use in any scenario. That being said, you can probably swap this card for one that your bank offers. Everybody should always try to make their life a little bit easier, and if you can get a really good credit card with the bank you already have, that can save you from having to create another account. Not to mention, if you already have a bank account, the likeliness of getting pre-approved is a lot higher. Having a credit card with your bank can help keep your life a little bit more organized, rather than hopping between apps, making sure all your bills are paid, and checking to see whether any of your accounts have been compromised. So if you already have a Chase bank account, I consider this card a no-brainer. Another temporary perk of this card: when you initially sign up, you have the ability to get a $200 bonus, plus up to 5% for grocery stores, excluding Target and Walmart, although this only applies for the first year and has a cap of $12,000 spent. Typically, I don't pay too much attention to sign-up bonuses, because by definition they're essentially temporary, but if you can squeeze a few $100 more out of a credit card company, then more power to you. I support your financial prowess. Lastly, the Freedom Unlimited card also has some travel benefits. You can earn up to 5% cash back on travel expenses, as long as these transactions are made through the Chase Ultimate Rewards program. If that is something that interests you, you'll have to look more into the terms and conditions, as I've never used it. And those are pretty much all the main benefits of the Chase Freedom Unlimited card. Up next, we have the Saver One Rewards card from Capital One. This card, as the name implies, is definitely good for saving. With an unlimited 3% cash back on dining, entertainment, popular streaming services, and at grocery stores, excluding Walmart and Target, unfortunately, but that seems to be a trend amongst most credit cards, and has one of the better new card member offers, as Capital One is willing to give you $200 if you spend $500. So basically, they're giving you 40% cash back on your first $500 if you do it within the first 3 months. That is not a bad return, especially since most people would spend that money anyway. So if your transactions fall within any of those categories, 3% is quite the cashback return, with the one downside of only getting 1% cash back on anything that doesn't fall into those categories. 1% is definitely not a bad rate, but there's a lot better out there. So if you wanted to maximize your returns with this card, you want to stay within those 3% categories. There are a few other niche opportunities you get with this card. If you get the student card, you have the opportunity to earn 10% cash back on Uber and Uber Eats. If you make purchases through the Capital One Entertainment platform, you can earn up to 8% cash back. These include certain ticket sales and dining reservations. So if either of those specialty use cases apply to you, it may be beneficial to looking more into this card. But for most people, the primary benefit of this card is that 3% unlimited cash back on dining, entertainment, and grocery stores. So to maximize your benefits with this card, you want to use it on most of those transactions. For any other purchases outside of those 3% categories, it would be better to use a different card. Another bonus is that I've always enjoyed the Capital One app. You can opt in to receive notifications from the app, giving you immediate transaction confirmation, and the overall user experience is a bit cleaner than most. To some, these are small details, but it's always a bonus to have a clean, easy-to-use app. And while having a good app is not exclusive to Capital One, we all know plenty of financial institutions have horrible user experiences, and most of their apps make doing things harder than they need to be. And the last thing I'll mention about this card is they also have travel benefits as well. Similar to the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, the Capital One Saver card gives you added travel benefits if purchased through Capital One Travel. This can include an unlimited 5% cash back on hotels and rental cars, as long as you book them through Capital One Travel. Whether using Capital One Travel is convenient or not, I do not know. So if you have any experience with it, be sure to share in the comments below. So far, we had the Chase Freedom Unlimited card, a very well-rounded cashback credit card. We've had the Capital One Saver card, a little bit weaker with miscellaneous purchases, but if you focus your transactions on those 3% categories, it definitely lives up to its name and will save you some money. The next cashback card we're going to look at is very precise. So compared to the other ones, this one is a bit of a sniper. And this is the Citi Custom Cash card. That's a lot of C's. I'm just going to call it Custom Cash from here. The Custom Cash card, as the name implies, customizes your cash back depending on your highest spending category. On that, you can get 5% cash back on the first $500 spent every billing cycle. With the downside being you only get 1% on anything above $500 and you get 1% on every other product category. So with this card, you want to focus on a category that typically does not exceed $500 too much. That way you're getting the most benefit out of that 5%. So if you spend about $500 to $600 on groceries every month, this would be a great card for you. And as always, this is excluding Walmart and Target, because you're not going to get much better than 5% cash back. That being said, anything that goes over $500 starts to lose its value, because after that you default down to 1%. On any category that isn't your highest, it's not a terrible card to use, but at 1% you can beat that with a lot of other cards. So like I said before, you want to kind of treat this card like a sniper. So if you go with a card like this, you want to choose a specific category of purchases to make on this card. One that will typically add up to about $500 a month. Any other spending category, you're probably better off using a different cashback card. But with 5% in your highest spending category, not many other cards will beat that. And now you might be saying, it's too much trouble to care about what I buy with each card. I don't want to think that hard about it. I don't want to have to make those decisions while I'm standing in line. I just want a general, great, all-rounder card that I can spend on everything and anything. And I completely understand that sentiment. Not everybody wants to max out each credit card's benefits. That's why with the next card, there's no specific tricks that this card does. It's just one of those credit cards you can use on any purchase. And it is once again a Citi card. It is the Citi Double Cash Credit Card. This credit card has one of the higher cashback rewards of any card. 2% cash back on purchases, 1% when you buy, 1% when you pay. No specific niches, purposes, or categories. Just a good old 2% cash back on everything. And at 2% unlimited cash back, that's probably one of the best you're going to find. Especially one through an institution as reputable as Citi. And I wish I could talk about this card more, but that's really essentially it. It is a basic card that you can use for anything and everything. No thinking about which card you used last time. No worrying about how to maximize your cashback benefits. Just a very straightforward card with very straightforward rules. So if ease of use and peace of mind are things that you care about, this is one of the easiest credit cards you can have. Last of which, I'm going to go through a few cards that are primarily for if you shop at certain locations or with certain companies. Most of these credit cards are pretty good as long as you're using them for what they're pretty much intended to be used for. These credit cards typically have a lot of benefits, but they're usually very specialized, normally focusing on the business that's supporting them. For example, the first on our list is the Amazon Prime card. You can also get an Amazon credit card without Prime. However, to get the most benefits, you need to be a Prime member. And with that, you get 5% cash back on all Amazon and Whole Foods purchases. So if you heavily shop at either, this may be a good card for you. And if you already have a Prime membership, this may be a good opportunity for you. You might as well get as much money back from it as possible. Next on the list is Walmart's Capital One credit card. This is very similar to Amazon's, as you can earn 5% cash back at Walmart.com, with the added benefit of having 0 annual fees. So if you're not a fan of paying for Amazon Prime, but you also shop a lot at Walmart.com, this may be a good alternative. At physical Walmart stores, you get 2% cash back. This card is probably why Walmart is excluded from all the other credit card lists. You also get 2% cash back at restaurants and on travel, and everything else is 1% cash back. Pretty much just like Amazon, if you do a lot of shopping at Walmart, this may be a good card for you. And the last of the store cards is Costco's Citi card. With this card, you get 4% cash back on eligible gas and EV charging. If you are a Costco member and you fill up your car, this may be a good card for you. You get 3% cash back on restaurants and eligible travel purchases. Surprisingly, you only get 2% on all purchases from Costco or Costco.com. A little disappointing, but not bad. And it also has the standard 1% for everything else. And the last one I'll be covering today is the Apple Card, which is definitely not known for its benefits, but has a few useful niche cases. Obviously, if you buy a lot of Apple products, this is a good card, but that's not the primary reason I added it to this list. The actual reason is if you use the Apple credit card and use Apple Pay, you get 2% cash back on everything. So if you're a person who likes to use their smartphone to pay for things, and you use Apple Pay for most if not all of your transactions, getting the Apple credit card allows you to get 2% cash back on everything. An additional perk is that at certain retailers you can get 3% cash back. It is a pretty limited list, but this includes Nike, T-Mobile, Uber and Uber Eats, Panera Bread, and Walgreens. And if you spend a lot within the App Store or on Apple services, this is also 3% cash back on all of that. So if you spend a lot on app games, every time you make a transaction through the App Store, you get 3% cash back, as well as for Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, and obviously, like mentioned before, on any Apple devices. And while I haven't used all of those cards, I've been interested in getting most of them. Most of those cards I have used, but a few of them I'm more interested in trying them out. So if you have any experience with any of these credit cards or companies, please let me know in the comments below. Unfortunately, with credit cards, you don't always know what you're getting into until after you've already applied. So any information that you can provide on any of these cards is greatly appreciated. Feel free to add your personal experience with some of the credit cards or others that I didn't mention in the comments below. And as always, if you like the content we make, be sure to like, subscribe, and keep watching The Daily Dollar.